is the first weekend after May 28th, which is Memorial Day here in the US. They say that signifies the start of summer.
Yes.
And so, of course, summer, we think about the heat, and what better way to cool down than ice cream. And not just any type of ice cream, but Wanderlust ice cream, Filipino-owned, and we are being joined by her today on the show. She's sharing her so cool story of founding this beautiful, successful brand. Adrienne, earlier you talked about the difficulties, but for you, the passion won over, right?
Yes.
What about when we said build it and they will come? At what point did you feel that they're coming? We're good.
I would say even before I quit my second job, I knew they were coming.
Yeah.
But it's just our estimation of how much it would take to, financially to run a business. We had underestimated that.
Right.
But I remember the first day we opened, line out the door, and after that first weekend, we were out of ice cream. So I knew people would come.
Right.
I knew that we were onto something. It was just a matter of, getting organized internally.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about you. You're a husband and wife team.
Yes.
They say it's difficult enough to maintain a marriage. What makes it even harder are for couples who actually work together as well. How is that dynamic?
We're very lucky in that I am into what I'm into, and he's into what he's into, and our paths rarely cross. He loves business, financials, management, training the staff, and I just love focusing on the product, and he really doesn't care about the product as long as I'm not making some really expensive flavor that's going to make us bankrupt.
Right.
So very rarely do our paths cross.
When it comes to that.
Yes.
But what about, you're together working and you're together raising children
Yes.
as a family. You have 3 kids now. At what point does business partnership start and end, and then the marriage start and end?
I guess there's no really any separation. We're always working. I mean, even when we're laying next to each other in bed at night, our pillow talk is work. It's work and kids.
Yes.
And even our kids know about the business. Like, they pick up things like, they pick up, they know everything that's going on at work because we're always talking about it at home. And so I don't think there's ever going to be any separation.
Right. So what would you advise women out there who also work with their significant? I can't work with my husband. But for those who are able to make it work, what's the secret?
I think just honing in on your strengths and accepting your weaknesses, and finding a partner that, whose strengths are your weaknesses.
Right.
I think that I got lucky in that. Obviously it wasn't planned.
Right.
But if you're going to work with someone, that's the key, I think.
But so how has this business affected, enriched, or sidetracked your marriage or your family life?
I think it has sidetracked my family life. Sometimes I look at my kids, I'm like, how are you 5 years old already? I feel like I just had you. So I feel like a lot of time, even though I work from home and I spend a lot of physical time with my kids, I'm not present a lot. My phone is going off, I'm answering emails. I wish I could be more present with my children.
But you're building their future.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's kind of like the trade-off, which is good for you as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of building, I know to build a business, you're expanding, you're creating more flavors and all that. Tell me about that process.
Yeah. So I think this is where the Filipino-ness comes into our entrepreneurship. We have a strategy where we only take pre-existing ice cream shops. So almost all of our locations were pre-existing ice cream shops or coffee shops. This was a juice shop, I think. So, it's very easy for us to expand with very little capital. A lot of, almost no build out.
Right.
Most of our stuff is just, a lipstick job, put up a sign, and that's how we've been able to expand so rapidly, so quickly.
That's a tip.
Yes.
You know, if you need a brick and mortar, find something that's already kind of like a puzzle that
Yeah.
fits your business, your
Yeah.
business needs,
Yeah,
right?
and I feel like we got that from our Filipino parents, you know, being children of immigrants, you know, making something out of nothing, being resourceful.
Adrienne, any plans to branch out outside of California, outside of the US?
We're thinking about franchising or licensing. Something we want to explore in the near future.
Right.
Definitely.
And on that note, what else? Where do you want to take this? What's on the horizon for you?
Well, we just wrote a book and it comes out June 4. So excited to share our story, our brand story, my personal story as well, and some of our famous recipes with the world.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on the book. I'm sure it will be a hit, just as Wanderlust is a hit. So I have with me, okay, I have a confession to make, and I'm gonna get flack for this, but I must be honest, I haven't tried Wanderlust.
Okay.
Because I'm not an ice cream person either. And yeah, so I'm excited to try.
Yeah.
And with you as my guide
Yes.
on the flavors.
Yes.
So the first one is,
It's our famous sticky rice and mango.
okay.
So
okay.
it's made with real sticky rice, salty coconut cream, and Alfonso mango, and it's completely vegan.
Uh-huh, good. Yeah.
And it's our most famous flavor.
It is good. Yeah.
I feel like it's a flavor that put us on the map.
Is this a recipe that's in the book?
Yes.
Yes. See?
It's been a top secret recipe for 9 years, and now I'm giving it away. in the
She's
book.
sharing it with you guys. You better order the book. It's on pre-order still
Yes.
before it launches on June.
June 4th.
What are you proud of about the book?
You know what? I'm proud of the fact that I wrote it without a co-author.
Oh, good. Yes, yes.
I didn't think I could do it on my own, but I did it on my own. I had the help of an editor, but no, not a co-author.
Right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now I'm down to the two other flavors.
Yes, it's ube malted crunch. You can just make regular ube, of course, but I wanted to do something different, so I decided to do a classic American flavor, which is malted milk, like, you know, malted shakes, and then add ube, and then it also has crunchy malt balls in there too.
It's really good. Yeah.
Most children that of any race walk out with ube. I think it's the color, and the flavor is very easy. The last flavor is a seasonal flavor. It's Yuzu Creamsicle.
I like yuzu.
Yeah.
Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay.
So,
How has your being Filipino helped you in this business?
I think just having a different perspective than the typical ice cream shop, like, you know, embracing flavors that we grew up with, and also having that experience that I didn't have a typical American childhood, and I like to embrace that with other cultures too. I think of, you know, not just Filipinos, but like Hispanics or like South Asians, like those people that grew up here. Like I imagine what their childhood looked like, and I want to, you know, translate that into ice cream flavors too.
Let me just share that in the last how many minutes, if I've tried flavor of Thailand from the sticky rice mango, and then Philippines with the ube, and then yuzu with, it feels like I've traveled.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing the ice cream,
Of course.
for sharing your story with us. And, you know, really, thank you so much for making us proud. Any ask from our audience?
My ask for our fellow Filipinos is to embrace the culture and pass it on to future generations. Make your children and relatives really proud of being Filipino. I wish that was something that I had embraced earlier in life. I feel like I'm only finding that out later in life. I wish I had always been proud to be Filipino. I am now.
Right, right. Was there a time when you weren't?
I feel like there was a time when I was growing up, it was always not, and this isn't just about Filipinos, but like Asians, like how white can you be? You know, how, you know, through how you dress, the music you listen to, it was always like this thing you're trying to prove, like how American can you be? Of course, we're naturally American, born and raised here, but I feel like what makes you American too is your diversity, because the face of America today is not what it was, 20, 30 years ago.
Love that. At what point or age in life did you realize, I don't need to try anymore, just embrace who I am and celebrate that, which is what you're doing now?
I feel like when we first opened Wanderlust, that's when it started happening. And it ended up being a big win for us.
Right. And a big win for one Filipino is a big win for all of us Filipinos. So once again, thank you. Where do you plan to take this? I know you mentioned earlier maybe licensing, franchising. Anything else? A book sequel perhaps?
Hopefully a book sequel. Half of what I wrote got cut out. They couldn't fit it in the book, so I probably am sitting on the second edition.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations once again on everything.
You.
I know that you're at the top right now as a business, as an entrepreneur, as a Filipino-American representing, as an author, soon to be on top as well, best-selling list, as a mom, raising children. What more do you want to achieve in life?
I think I would want to mentor the future generation.
So now it's all about giving back.
Yeah, giving back in community, and I feel like in the last 12 months, I've learned so much from my community, and they've inspired me so much. I can go on to list specific names, but the local Filipino community here in Los Angeles is really inspiring.
See, that's why I love my job too. I get to meet these wonderful people like you and share your stories as well. Thank you so much once again. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on the show. If you missed any of the segments or any other stories of migration and representation here on SoJannelle, we are available online. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and of course on TV, on TFC, ANC, and KXLA. And that's it for me here on the show. I'm your host, Janelle So, and you've been watching SoJannelle.